There is a process happening right now.
Quietly, deliberately, almost entirely out of public view. A process so carefully managed, so strategically designed, and so deliberately kept away from the cameras and the press and the official royal coverage, that most people who follow European royalty closely have absolutely no idea it is happening. And the few people who do know, are not talking about it. Not because it is shameful. Not because it is inappropriate or controversial or in any way unworthy of the remarkable young woman at the center of it. But because the people designing this process understand something that most royal watchers have not yet fully grasped. That the most powerful preparation for a crown is not the kind that happens in public. It is the kind that happens in the quiet places. The difficult places. The places where nobody is watching and the only thing being built is the person herself. Europe's next queen is being prepared for a throne that will demand everything she has. And what they are not showing you is the part that will make all the difference. Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes I am going to take you completely inside a story that the official royal coverage has deliberately left untold. I am going to show you what is really happening behind the carefully managed image of Princess Leonor of Spain. And by the time we reach the end of this video, you will understand not just what they have been hiding, but why, and why what they have been hiding is the most impressive thing about her. Let me start with something that most people who follow royal families across Europe have never stopped to fully consider. Every monarch who has ever sat on a throne, every king or queen who has ever carried the weight of a crown and the responsibility of a nation, was once standing exactly where Princess Leonor is standing today. Young, in preparation, being shaped by experiences and decisions and deliberate choices that the public could only partially see. And in almost every case, in the stories of the monarchs who went on to reign with genuine distinction, with real public trust, with the kind of authority that comes from the inside rather than simply from inheritance. The preparation that mattered most was the preparation that happened away from the cameras. History is full of monarchs who were prepared beautifully for the public aspects of their role. Who knew how to stand correctly and speak appropriately and manage a state banquet with flawless grace. And history is equally full of accounts of those same monarchs struggling, sometimes deeply, sometimes publicly, when the crown required something more than polish and protocol. When it required genuine resilience. Real empathy. The kind of inner strength that cannot be performed on command because it was never actually built. King Felipe of Spain looked at that history and made a decision. He decided that his daughter, the young woman who will one day carry the future of the Spanish monarchy on her shoulders, would not be prepared only for the visible parts of the role. She would be prepared for all of it, including the parts that are never visible, including the demands that no official photograph or state ceremony ever reveals. And the preparation he chose for her is the story that nobody is telling. Until now, the first thing they are not showing you is this. Princess Leonor has been living a double life. Not in any dramatic or problematic sense, but in a way that is genuinely extraordinary when you understand what it actually means. On one side of that life, the visible side, the side that appears in official photographs and royal news coverage and palace press releases, is the Princess Leonor the world believes it knows. Elegantly dressed, perfectly poised, present at official engagements with the kind of composed grace that makes royal observers across Europe describe her as one of the most naturally prepared heirs of her generation. Beautiful appearances, appropriate statements, exactly the right combination of warmth and dignity that a future queen is expected to project. That version of Leonor is real, but it is not the complete picture. Because on the other side of that carefully managed public image, is a version of Princess Leonor that the palace has worked extremely hard to keep away from the cameras. Not to hide something damaging, but to protect something precious. The version of Leonor that rises before 5 in the morning in a military barracks. The version that carries the same weight, runs the same distances, and endures the same physical and psychological demands as every other cadet at the General Military Academy in Zaragoza, with no adjustment, no accommodation, and no exception made for the fact that she is the future Queen of Spain. The version that spent weeks at sea on a naval vessel crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Thousands of miles from home, from family, from every comfort and every familiar thing that her life had been built around. The version that gave up the ordinary freedoms of young adult life, the spontaneous weekends, the social media presence, the unremarkable beautiful ordinariness of being young in the world. Without complaint, without public acknowledgement, without asking for a single moment of recognition in return. That version of Princess Leonor is the one they are not showing you. And here, right here, is where the story gets genuinely fascinating. Because the question is not simply what they are hiding. The question is why. Why would a royal institution choose to conceal the most impressive thing about its future monarch? Why would the people responsible for managing the image of the next Queen of Spain deliberately keep the most powerful part of her story away from the cameras? Stay with me, because the answer to that question changes everything about how you understand what is actually happening inside the Spanish royal family right now. The hidden agenda, and I want to be precise about what I mean when I use those words, is not a conspiracy. It is not a cover-up. It is not the concealment of something shameful or the manipulation of public perception for dishonest purposes. It is something far more sophisticated than any of those things. It is a strategy, a long-term, deeply considered, historically informed strategy for producing something that most monarchies in Europe have struggled to produce in the modern era. A monarch who is genuinely ready. Not ready in the ceremonial sense. Not ready in the sense of knowing the correct protocols and the appropriate responses and the right way to stand during a state occasion. Ready in the way that actually matters. Ready to make real decisions under genuine pressure. Ready to connect with ordinary people not from a position of managed distance but from a place of actual shared experience. Ready to carry the weight of a crown not because protocol demands it but because the years of private preparation have built in her the strength to do so. The Spanish royal family, guided significantly by King Felipe, who has his own profound understanding of what genuine royal preparation requires, has been running a program for Leonor that most European monarchies would consider almost radical in its demands. Remove the protections. Remove the accommodations that royal status usually provides. Put the future queen in environments where her title is irrelevant and what she is actually made of is the only thing that matters. And then, keep it quiet, not forever, not permanently, but for long enough that the preparation can do its work without the pressure of public scrutiny changing its nature. Because here is something that the people running this program understand deeply. The moment you put cameras on a process designed to build genuine character, the process changes. The person being prepared starts performing their preparation rather than living it. And performing preparation and actually undergoing it produce completely different results. The palace has been protecting the authenticity of Leonor's preparation by keeping most of it away from public view. And in doing so, they have been building something that the cameras will eventually see the results of. Even if they never see the process itself. Pause here with me for just a moment. Because what I just described to you is not simply a royal strategy. It is a philosophy of human development that applies to every single person watching this video right now. The most important growth any of us ever undergoes happens in private, in the difficult moments that nobody witnesses, in the quiet choices that earn no immediate recognition, in the early mornings and the long nights and the demanding experiences that shape who we become. Long before the world sees any evidence of what we have built. Princess Leonor has been living that truth at a scale and intensity that most of us will never be asked to match. And the results of that private process are already beginning to show. Let me tell you what the cameras have been allowed to capture. Because even within the carefully managed frame of what the palace permits the public to see, there are moments that reveal everything about what the hidden preparation has been building. Watch Leonor at official engagements over the past 2 years, after the military training, after the naval voyage, after the private years of genuine preparation. And compare what you see to who she was before. The difference is not cosmetic. It is not simply that she has grown older or become more polished or learned to dress more appropriately for state occasions. The difference is in her eyes. There is a quality in her gaze now that was not there before. A steadiness. A kind of quiet authority that does not announce itself but is simply present, unmistakably, undeniably present, in the way she occupies a room. The quality of someone who has already faced genuinely difficult things. who has already been tested in circumstances where her title offered her no protection and her own inner resources were the only thing she had to rely on. Who has already discovered, in the most direct and unambiguous way possible, what she is actually capable of when the comfortable options are removed. Royal observers across Europe who have been covering royal families for decades have noted this quality in Leonor with increasing frequency. Not in the language of royal flattery. Not in the managed enthusiasm of official coverage. In the careful, measured, professionally precise language of people who have watched many future monarchs develop over many years. And recognize something genuinely different when they see it. What they are seeing in Princess Leonor is the visible result of the invisible preparation, the surface evidence of everything that the cameras were not allowed to watch being built. And here is the part of this story that I find most extraordinary of all. The hidden agenda is working. Now let me place everything I have described into the context of what is happening across Europe right now. Because Princess Leonor's hidden preparation does not exist in isolation. It exists within a broader story about the future of monarchy on this continent. A story that is unfolding in real time and whose outcome is genuinely uncertain. The monarchies of Europe are navigating a moment of profound challenge. Public trust in institutions, all institutions, not just royal ones, is at historic lows across much of the developed world. The patience of ordinary people with inherited privilege that does not demonstrate genuine value is shorter than it has ever been. Monarchies that once relied on tradition and ceremony and the simple continuity of history to justify their existence are discovering that those justifications are no longer automatically sufficient. The question being asked, quietly in some countries, loudly in others, is not simply whether monarchy is historically valid. It is whether it is genuinely worth having today. Different royal families across Europe are answering that question in different ways. Some are modernizing their image, updating their public presentation, working to demonstrate relevance through carefully managed social media presence and strategic public appearances. These are not unreasonable responses to a genuine challenge. But they are surface responses. They address the appearance of relevance without necessarily building the substance of it. The Spanish royal family is doing something different. They are answering the question of relevance not through image management, but through genuine preparation. They are building a monarch who will be able to stand before a skeptical, questioning, privilege-examining modern world. And offer something that no image management strategy in the world can manufacture. A genuine answer. I have done the difficult things. I have been tested in the real places. I have earned something beyond the accident of my birth. And I am prepared, truly, completely, from the inside prepared. To serve you. That answer, when Leonor eventually gives it, in her own time, in her own way, will be the most powerful thing any European monarch has said in a generation. So what does all of this mean for you? Why does the hidden preparation of a young Spanish princess matter to someone watching from the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Brazil, or anywhere else in the world? Because at its heart, underneath the royal titles and the palace strategies and the carefully managed official coverage, this is a story about something completely universal. It is a story about what genuine preparation actually looks like. About the difference between being given something and earning it. About the kind of work that happens in private, quietly, demandingly, without applause or recognition or immediate reward. That eventually produces something the whole world can see. We are watching Princess Leonor being built into a queen. Not in the official photographs. Not in the state appearances or the formal speeches or the palace press releases. In the hidden places. The demanding places. The places the cameras were never allowed to follow. And what is being built there? In the quiet, in the difficulty, in the private years of real sacrifice and genuine preparation, is something that the Spanish throne has not seen for a very long time. A monarch who deserves it. Not simply because history gave it to her, but because she chose, every single day, in the places where nobody was watching, to become worthy of it. The hidden agenda is not something to be suspicious of. It is something to be genuinely inspired by. Because it is the clearest evidence we have that the next chapter of European monarchy is going to be extraordinary. Before you go today, I want to ask you something that I believe genuinely matters. In a world where so much of what we see from public figures is carefully managed and strategically presented, do you believe that hidden preparation, the kind that happens away from cameras, that costs something real, that builds genuine substance rather than polished image, produces better leaders than the kind of preparation we are allowed to watch? Yes, hidden genuine preparation produces better leaders. Or no, transparency and public accountability matter more than private preparation. Leave your answer in the comments right now. I read every single comment on this channel personally and I will reply to you directly. If this video gave you a perspective on Princess Leonor that you had never considered before, if it showed you something behind the official image that genuinely moved you, please hit the like button right now. 1 second of your time helps Royal Hearts United reach thousands more people around the world who are hungry for exactly this kind of storytelling. And if you are not yet part of this community, subscribe right now and join thousands of royal enthusiasts across the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe and beyond who believe that the most powerful royal stories are always the ones happening just outside the frame of the official photograph. Your next video is waiting for you right here. And I promise you, it goes even deeper than this one. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for watching Royal Hearts United. Stay royal, stay curious, and I will see you in the next one. Crown.